Now let's take a quick look at outputting individual shapes to be able to use in Maya as blend shapes. So we still have our 3D layers here set up with some of the pieces broken out. Let's look at how we can now export these to be able to use them in Maya to blend together so that we have a little bit more control. So let's go ahead and choose the eye left close, and I've got the intensity just set to 1, so it's all the way closed. And now down here in geometry, I'm going to lower this down to level 2, which is what we're going to be blend shaping in Maya. And so we'll take that level, go ahead and say export, and we can just call this eye left shut. You can save that as an OBJ. Go back here, turn that off, and we want to do one at a time. So we'll take that eye right, change the intensity to 1, dial that down to our subdivision level 2, and export that. And by separating these out, you could do both eyes at once, but by separating these out, you can get offsets and things like that. You just have more control having each eye separated. So we'll call this eye right shut. Say OK, we'll save that. Go back up to level 3. And let's try, okay, brow left A down, and go back down to level 2, export, call this brow left and just figure out how you want to separate that. Brow A, brow left A down. And again, come back, raise it back up, turn that off, and do the other side. And ours was set to 1.15, so I'll go ahead and dial that back to intensity of 1. Turn that other one off and export that again. Just make sure your intensity is at full intensity. You could dial it up to above 1, because then you can always have that control over that in Maya as far as how far it goes towards that maximum. Well, whatever you set here will be your what you want your kind of max to be in Maya. Go ahead and save over that. Back to level 3. Turn that off. Turn the right brow on and make that intensity 1. Back down to 2. Export that. We'll call this, alright. Save that. So you can see, you just go down the line and export out these different shapes that we have here. Turn that off. And what else? We can do a mouth shut. So we've got the intensity there of 1. Dial that up a little bit. Make sure it's inside there. 1.2 maybe. Go down to level 2. Export that. Mouth shut. Go ahead and save that out. Alright, so you don't have to save out all the different variations that we created. You might just try a few, and then when we go into Maya, you'll be able to bring those in and go ahead and combine those together. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and export a few more of these, just using the same process. We'll go down to level 2, export that after we dial that layer up to an intensity of 1 with the visibility on, making sure that nothing else is turned on. And so we'll get all of those shapes exported out. Alright, in the next lesson, let's go ahead and build a couple of phonemes. So we've got sort of facial expressions, but let's look at how we can now sculpt a few different options for when the character has to actually speak. So go ahead and tackle that in the next lesson.